Welcome to Keep Your Head Up Hockey. I'm your host, Jamie Young. Thanks so much for tuning in. We've got J-Dog in the house
So,
first time in a little bit, as well as Coach Dylan Jose. How's it going, boys? How's everybody doing?
cheers. Doing well.
Cheers.
Having a
Getting it.
beer, waiting for the playoffs.
Getting
I'm,
ready.
Not
I'm
much
the only
better
guy.
than that.
I'm back in Canada. I'm doing it Hick style, peanut butter jar for freaking drink cup. It's all good.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
yeah. One more game to go, boys, and playoff time, and we all know who we're playing, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Just a quick shout out, of course, to Core 4. Thanks so much for tuning into our pregame shows as well as our show weekly. You guys are the best. Thanks so much for supporting our show. We appreciate it. If you're here, smash that like button, share the show, tell a friend about this show. But yeah, big story. Playoffs are coming. They start Saturday, Leafs first game, 7 p.m. in Boston, and it's going to be an absolute war. But we'll talk about that here in just a second. I just wanted to briefly mention a pretty cool idea I came up with. So NHL every year, they've got a bracket challenge. And this year, if you actually win the NHL bracket challenge, like you're the number one guy out of 60,000 teams, it's a 5,000 US dollar package for any game that you want to go to in the regular season for next year. So pick the city, pick who they're playing. If you want to go to a Leafs game in, I don't know, Florida, you can go there.
Utah.
$5,000 package, and they pay for your flight, they pay for your meals, they pay for your hotel. It's a full shindig. You get everything. And then what I also found out is that you can make a league on there. So I'm going to post all the details on our Facebook group as well as below this stream after the stream's done, so that you can easily find our league. It's here it is. League is Keep Your Head Up show. Password Core 4. I'm going to throw in $100. I'm going to throw in $100 to the winner of our league. Not cash though. I'm going to make you some merch. I'm going to get you some Keep Your Head Up Hockey merch, whatever you want, a hat or a hat and a t-shirt or a hoodie. I'll have somebody make it for you so that you can wear it proud. But then the big real kicker is whoever wins our league is going to come on the show, the first show of the year. We're going to have you as one of the hosts on our show. So get excited for that. Please participate. It's free, a lot of fun, and I hope that you win. I really do. But yeah, big question tonight. Obviously, we're playing Tampa Bay boys. Wanted to throw it out there. Should Austin Matthews play tonight and go for 70? Let's throw it over to J-Dog. We haven't heard from J-Dog for a while. J-Dog, what do you think about Austin Matthews and the run he's been on? And also, should he really go for 70 tonight?
100% playing. 100% insane. If you think you should sit, I'm paying this motherfucker $12 million a year to friggin' play hockey. If he gets paid by the shift, he's making like $50,000 a minute every time he's on the ice. Like, give me a goddamn break. Anybody that you're a hockey player, you're a man, play the whole season. That's what you're getting paid for. If I'm a guy that's paying, whatever it is for a season ticket, or not even season ticket, actually even worse, if I'm going to the game for the first time, second time, 15th time, whatever, and don't have season tickets, I'm paying a shitload of money to go watch that guy score 70 goals or his 70th goal. If he doesn't show up when I'm at that rink, I'm going down there and beating the face off of friggin' Sheldon Keefe and friggin' Shanahan myself if I'm a guy that paid a ticket or paid for a ticket. And you know what? These guys, they get a lot of extra time off. You know what? Your season's short. I don't really care what anybody says. It's the hardest cup to win, the hardest championship to win. There's nobody that plays more physical. Not even the NFL is as physical as the NHL. I'm sorry, it's not. And if you throw somebody on a pair of skates, a NFL player on a pair of skates, and ask him what it feels like to get hit at 35 kilometers an hour in comparison to 24, you know what I'm saying? It makes a big difference. You know, and you're out there every other shift, you know what I mean? Or every couple of shifts. It's not like football, stop, start, and some guy, a kicker, kicks once every friggin', sometimes they don't even kick. You know, give me a break. You're paid to play. Get out there and play.
All right. Thank you, J-Dog. Dylan, what do you think? Matthews should play tonight? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, great point by J-Dog there too, of course, because if you're a fan, you want to see this guy play. And you definitely want to see him get 70 goals. Let's go. Keith, Keith's going to put him in the lineup. Keith pulled the goalie yesterday when they were down by 3 goals and had Matthews on the ice just to get him that 70th and just get that over with so we can move on and move past this milestone and focus on the regular season. Does it really matter tonight if he gets it or not? I mean, it does for the fans, but at the end of the day, he needs to play. He'll play less minutes like he did last night, but he definitely needs to play. And there's no reason why he shouldn't get it tonight. This guy has hit the most posts in the league. I think he's hit like 20 posts.
20.
And he's only had 7 or 8 empty netters, which is astounding, but he's not usually on there during those empty net type of plays. They have other guys who are slotted for that, who are well designed to be out there in those last few minutes. So, but however, if it happens tonight where there is an empty net opportunity, Matthews is going to get it and get his chance to put it in the empty net. And I don't really care if it's an empty net. I don't care if it goes in off his ass, whatever it is. Let's just get it and get the 70. The guy could have had 80 this year, in my opinion, with 20 posts and the amount of near misses and close calls that he's had all friggin' year. You guys have seen it. He hasn't missed too many games this year. I think he's missed 2 games all year as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
There's no reason to arrest him. There's no reason.
Hey, you can definitely say something after. I wanted to say jump in here.
Listen, and listen, if the fans, if he gets hurt, you can't blame Keefe. You can't blame anybody. If that happens,
it's a game.
We went for it, and it's hockey, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't
He's
even
not going to get hurt.
Shit, anyways. And
I
He's
also
not going
like
to get hurt. We're knocking on wood. We're knocking on wood. I got to say, though, I got to jump in here and say my point. So this guy has earned it. This guy is the most dynamic player in the league. He's the best goal scorer since Mario Lemieux. I'll say it. He is dynamic. He's amazing. He has earned the right to play this last game to go for 70. Now, does it really mean a whole lot to him? Absolutely, it does. He wants this more than any other player on the team. But you know what? The team wants it too. They want it for Matthews because he's earned it and really breaking some great records. I'm going to say it right now. I think that Auston Matthews in his career will be the greatest goal scorer that we've ever seen. And I don't think anybody will even come close to him after he's done his career. And I'm saying it, beat Wayne Gretzky's record. Like, he'll be the one to actually do it. And if OV does it, he'll be the guy to do it after. But I got to say, he's earned the right to be there. He's earned the right to play tonight. I say he does it on his first shift. He wants it so bad. I think he's going to go in. First shot of the game for him. And we'll be cheering him on. Of course, I got my jersey on, the big Auston Matthews. I hope that he does the strut after he scores and really celebrates, does the big celly. But yeah, no, it's exciting to watch.
The one knee point, doesn't he do the one knee with the?
Oh, I love that. And I just love his. Yeah, I just love it. And I tell you right now, he's earned it. I think that this will give him a little bit more momentum and going into the playoffs if he does get the 70. And really, it's for his family and his friends, right? Too, right? And because everybody's cheering for him, everybody's ringing up his phone. 62, 63, 68, 69. His phone's blowing up. He wants it more than anybody else, more than the fans, but also for his family and friends and for the team as well. Jay, you had a final point on this. What do you want to say, buddy?
Well, a lot of people are saying, rest him, like that comment and whatever. I understand where people come from with that, but the Leafs are at a critical point right now in the way that they're playing. They got pounded last night in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Like they played a better game than the other team did, and they got pounded in 30 seconds. And that's it. Like, they were a better team than Florida was most of that game. So if you don't think that this guy scoring his 70th goal at a crucial point at this point in the season would not do like wonders for the whole team, because everybody would feel like they're a part of history. They would like, fuck, now we're a part of history. We need to do something, let's make it that one step further. I honestly believe after watching the game last night, Marner was junk last night. I'm sorry. He was all over the ice, but I'm sorry. He gave up the puck at least 7 or 8 times last night and bad passes. It wasn't It wasn't like it was stupid passes. I'm sorry, it was, and physical. Somebody got physical with him, then took the puck from him. So he didn't even try to fight back. So if your second best player is not playing the way he should, you got to have something else to give you a jump. And something else for everybody else to look forward to, something else for everybody to shine from. And I believe this 70th goal will put these people and put these guys into a different mode. I'm not going to say they're going to win everything, but I think it'll put them into a different mode. They'll be a little bit more successful if he does score it.
The team wants it for him. Who's in net for Tampa tonight?
I don't know, and I think that they're definitely going to be sitting in their hot hand. But I don't know who they're playing. Actually, you know what I do? Let me look up here. No, I only have the Leafs.
Elliott
up here.
I think it's Vasilevskiy.
Vasilevskiy, if he's playing, then he's going to be, wide-eyed and trying to stop Matthew from scoring, right?
Sure.
But if it's Elliott, I think that
this guy can score on anybody. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. Let's move on. We'll keep the conversation going. I want to talk about Samsonov starting tonight because he is scheduled to start. I think that is a massive mistake by Keefe. We don't need to win this game. Now, yes, give him another, test run to to win one before the end of the year. Sure. But what if he hurts himself? Then that's our quote unquote number one guy going down when really clearly Wall needs another game to get ready for the playoffs. I felt like, 31 shots in the second period is a lot, but we haven't seen his best since coming back on injury. But 31 shots in the second, that was ridiculous. Dylan, what do you got to think about goalies tonight? Why should Samsonov start? Why should he sit?
I think Samsonov needs to start tonight. I think he needs to stay sharp. All year long, he's done better when he's in games and when he's playing and when he's focused. When his mind starts to wander, the pucks start filling the back of the net. And he hasn't had the last couple of games. He hasn't had he hasn't had a very good outcome. He let in 4 goals against Detroit. Mind you, if you really pay attention in that Detroit game, defensive lapses were horrible. TJ Brody's out. TJ Brody's not going to play in the playoffs with his game against Detroit. That was his one and only chance to get it done. I think the other thing for Samsonov tonight is to prove that he is the playoff starter, because there is still some question marks around who starts in the playoffs. Most likely it's Sammy, but let's see how he does tonight in a meaningless game against a very strong playoff team. And this is an opportunity for Sammy to prove to everybody and the coach that he is the number one starter against Boston on Saturday. We confirm that? Boston.
Saturday, 7 p.m. I saw it. Yeah, 7 p.m. Saturday. I saw it on NHL.com. So
see you later.
Pumped up. I thought it'd be Sunday, but I'm pumped. Like, give us the spotlight. First night, like Saturday night hockey. Let's do this. What do you think about goalies tonight, J-Dog?
How many Leaf fans do you think there is? 100 million
in the world?
Yep. 100 million.
100 million?
More, yeah. Fuck yeah.
I would think. I don't know. No, not 100 million.
I played hockey in Europe. There's like millions of Leaf fans, man, in Europe. Not a joke.
No, not 100 million, because you got to look at it in terms of there's millions of European Leaf fans.
Like, I've been to 32 different countries on this planet, and I've seen Leaf fans in every goddamn country I've been in. I'm telling you, there's 100 million Leaf fans, because not everybody knows anything about hockey,
right?
But they know who the Toronto Maple Leafs are. They know who the Habs are too. I'm not going to argue that. They know who the Rangers are. They know the original 6 teams. It doesn't matter where you're from. They all seem to know. A lot of people know, if they know anything about hockey, they know the original 6 teams, and of course, they know the Anaheim Ducks. Mighty Ducks, right? So, but other than that, man, I'll tell you right now, the Leafs are the largest. It doesn't matter who you are. You can cry about it all you want. There's no bigger fan base in the world other than the Leafs. When it comes to hockey, there's only maybe 4 other sports that actually have larger fan bases for teams in those sports, which would be Manchester United, and like a couple other teams like that. Maybe Milan, as far as soccer is concerned. and there's probably 2 or 3 cricket teams that are like super, like popular throughout the world. There is, I think.
Well, how come we don't have at least 1 million people watching this show? If there's 100 million Leaf fans out there, Jesus Christ, let's go!
Great
What the hell's
question.
going on?
My point is that if there is 100 million people that are out there that are Leaf fans, I guarantee you that 99 million people that are paying attention want this guy to succeed. They want him to play well. They want him to start tonight. They want him to have a good feeling going into the playoffs. We don't like, honestly, I think they should have given Hildeby a try. He's 6'7". He doesn't have to even, all he's going to do is stand there. He's a big dude. I think they should have given him a try. I don't think Wall's ready to come. After what I saw last night, I didn't think that Wall was on point. However, the defense in the last 4 games, other than Benoit, has been junk. Benoit even played a little bit bad a couple nights ago, but you know what? The guy's been pretty solid all season. You can't really give him, like, the guy has been the best defenseman we got all season. I don't give a shit about Riley.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. This guy has been the best pickup the Leafs has had for a long time on defense. I mean, obviously we've got some better players up front. The guy's going to score 70 goals hopefully tonight. But for a trade and for what we paid for this guy, I think Benoit has been a rock star. And when his contract comes up, it's going to be interesting. But you're going to see Gio
for like 3 years.
I know.
For a steal, like 1.3.
When it comes up, if he keeps playing the way he's playing, he's going to find himself in the top 10%, man. I guarantee you. He'll be making money. He'll be making money if he keeps playing the way he's playing.
Top 10 in the league. He's top 10 in the league. Now we're talking about Benoit. So he's top 10 in the league in hits. And the Leafs are top 3 teams this year. Top 3 teams this year in hits, only behind Florida and Boston.
Yeah.
Did we really think that this extremely talented, high offensive team could be top 3 in hits? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Finally, we've got a tough team. I love it. I just
this is a different team than we've had in years past. And again, especially against Boston. Boston has no idea what's coming their way. They haven't really.
The physicality is going to be different.
Have we played? How many times have we played Boston since the trade deadline? Once, and we won.
Twice, because we played almost back to back. So twice. Yeah, the one was
it was a back to back
game, and then the last one was the rough and tumble game. Yeah.
And I think we won one, lost one.
Yeah.
But
I think. The goalie, as far as goaltender, he needs to play unless we. And if either one of these two fucks don't play well, you need to bring up Hildeby. That's my opinion.
Hildeby is not going to happen. We keep talking about Hildeby like he's something. He's not going to do anything until next year or the year after. He's still young, and we still have Murray, who's only 29 years old. We've got Wall, who's a good goalie. They're gonna wait. They're not gonna bring Hildeby up and have him get lit up by NHL caliber players and destroy his confidence and
Matt Murray,
put him in the spotlight. J-Dog, the Toronto media spotlight is unlike any other. You said it yourself. There's 100 million Leaf fans out there.
Yeah,
there is a reason why when you play for this team, there's 200 million fucking eyeballs on you, and that's a lot. That is a lot of pressure. Especially for a young goalie, get his confidence up, have him win down in the Marlies. They made the playoffs this year. They'll be playing for the Calder Cup. So, let him win down there and get his confidence up.
I just
think you can't take that away. You can't take that away from the Marlies, though, Jay. You can't take it away from the Marlies. You cannot take Hildeby away from the Marlies right now. He's 12-0-1 in the AHL. Should fucking Keefe should have given him the fucking try mid-year? Absolutely he should have. But it's way too fucking late to do it now. You can't throw this guy into the fucking world into the flames.
In the world, when did Tim Thompson come in the fucking league? The guy had grandkids, for fuck's sake.
He was like 32.
It doesn't matter when. It's all about timing. And if you
But it's
got
about
a guy
condition.
that's 6'7", look at Ben. What was Ben? What's his face? Played for Dallas. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart. The goalie.
Big Ben.
Yeah. What the hell's his last name? I'm on a
Ben
total brain.
Bishop.
Bishop. Thank you.
Mr.
Too many
Ben
things.
Bishop. Yeah.
Anyway, I like that guy when he came in the league. I mean, he was not dynamic by any means, but he covered most of the net.
Yeah,
And he
he's
played
just so
well,
big.
and look where he went. You know, he was competing all the time. Everywhere he went, he was competing for a cup. He had
Like
a
when
team,
those guys are on their knees, their shoulders are blocking the top corners every time.
dude. If
The
I was
crossbar is here.
a $2
How to
hooker,
beat those goalies? You shoot low on them though.
if I was a $2 hooker, I could be standing up, and I wouldn't have to fucking bend down. Let's just put it that way.
Okay. Well, this is the playoff schedule, playoff special, and you know what? It's one more thing I get off my chest a little bit, and it's about one of our players and his play since he got signed, and I got to bring it up. So William Nylander, okay, we signed him on January 8th, okay, for $11.5 million a year for an 8-year extension. Okay. Did he fucking earn it? Absolutely he did. Because he come out of fucking flying. 21 goals, 36 assists, and a plus minus of +6 in 38 games. And it was one of the best, he was one of the best in the league at that point. Since then, his play is diminished. The biggest stat that concerns me is his plus minus, because since then, he's a -2. Now, is that a big deal? Well, it is for this team because we are top 3 in goals for the year. And nobody on our team is a minus except Nylander. When you literally look at the stats, Nylander is the only minus on the team. It is concerning because couple last games, I've seen 2 or 3 plays where he just doesn't look around him and loses players in his own zone. It's concerning to me. Now, the stats there, yeah, you know what? They don't really tell the full story. His effort does, though. And fans that actually watch this team realize what players are putting in the full effort. He's not putting in the full effort. He's lazy. He doesn't play defense. He doesn't care. He doesn't look inspired. Truthfully, I really don't think this guy's inspired. I hope to fucking God that he gets inspired during the playoffs. I really, really do. I think that if, the playoffs in Boston snaps him out of this little funk that he's in and turns him into a top 10 forward like he's being paid to be, great. I think it's awesome. But if he doesn't, trade the motherfucker. Get rid of him. If he does not show up in this playoff run and take a hit for the team, block a shot, play fucking defense, and work hard every shift, I don't want him on my fucking team. I don't want this type of Nylander since he got signed. And it's quite obvious that he's all in it for the money. Literally all in it for the money. He got signed and he's like, I don't give a shit anymore. And I'm not the only fan that thinks this. And if you want to call me crazy, that's fine. But I know there's other fans that are concerned. I'm a Nylander fan. I really am. When he's on his game, he's one of the best in the league. But I got to tell you right now, you need to show the fuck up, and you need to show the fuck up now. Dylan, what do you got to say about that? Because I know that you probably don't agree. What are your thoughts?
We knew what we were getting out of this guy. We knew he wasn't a gritty player. We knew he had an incredible shot. He can fly down the wing. He's got speed. He's got hands. He can put the puck in the tiniest little crevice of the net opening that you could possibly imagine. And that's what we expect from him. That's what we did get from him. The problem is when he's not doing that, he's not doing anything. You don't hear his name on the broadcast. You don't hear, oh, what a defensive play by Nylander. Oh, Nylander steals the puck. No, he just skates around, waits for his opportunities. Do you know who he reminds me of a lot? Is Patrick Laine. He's a Patrick Laine type player where it's like he peaks and valleys all the time. Peaks and valleys. We need consistency on this team, and we need hardworking, and grit. He's not built for the playoffs. I don't know what he's going to do in the playoffs. Having said that, last year he was pretty darn good for us in the playoffs, wasn't he? So I don't know if he's just waiting and he's going to shut us all up in the playoffs because he led the team in the playoffs last year. It's tough, man. I hate to shit on him. And, you shat on him, and then he who'd you shit on the other night? And then he came out and got 2 goals. You shot on Samsonov early in the year, and then he came out and started,
Hey, maybe it's me and they're watching our broadcast. They're like, oh my God, this guy, yeah.
They're scrolling the dark web looking at the fucking
if I was a player, I damn near would, man. I really would. But yeah. Valid points,
true
man.
Fans.
You know what? Like, I'm a true fan. I want the best for this team, and I want my best players performing at the caliber that they know that they can play. I want to win a cup. I'm sorry, I've had enough of getting chirped by Habs fans and fucking, Ottawa fans my whole life. I've had enough.
The -2 kills me, Jamie. The -2 is one of the worst. -2 Nylander. Like, come on. And you know what? I see him. We get scored on so many times when he's out there. I see it right off the face-off, and it's always after we score a goal. Sometimes it's after he's scored a goal.
Drives me crazy. It's not good. And he's got to wake up. He's got to wake up. J-Dog, what do you think, man? Because I know that you love Nylander. We've heard about it before. And I'm an Nylander fan too, but I want to hear what your thoughts are. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I kind of right there?
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
100% you are correct. And he's been sucking the hind tit of a cow that's been stuck in a 3-foot hole of mud. That I don't know what that means, but I just tell you, it just doesn't sound good.
Pretty bad.
Yeah. However, last year, motherfucker was the best player on the ice, and it didn't matter what team you're talking about. He was the best player on the ice in the playoffs. In the first and the second, it didn't really matter. He was better than Matthews. He was better than Marner, and those two were two of the best on the ice in the playoffs. However, he's been sucking that hind tit lately. Not a problem, I don't think.
Does he just not care? He just not care right now? He's just like, I'm waiting for the playoffs.
That's my point. I think he's been he's prima donna. There's no question. Since they went to fucking Sweden, that guy changed. Had nothing to do with the contract. It's from when they went to Sweden. He's on TV and fucking 12 shows. He shows up in a goddamn wife beater to fucking on the most important TV, not important, but the most popular TV show in Sweden with a wife beater and his hat on backwards. That's why I wore it like this tonight. I knew we were going to get to this point. And he talked like he was a stud. It was just like, look at me. That was the whole thing. Now, I don't give a shit. I've met his dad several times. He's a super nice guy. His dad's a very grounded person. So I guarantee you, he seemed to be very grounded. So I guarantee you at this point in the year, his dad's going to have a little conversation with him. His dad is a big influence in his life. I guarantee you he will have a conversation. Now, that conversation might have already happened. And his dad might have told him, hey, dude, you've made the playoffs. 3 weeks ago they made the playoffs? He might have said, cruise from here on in. You're in. Doesn't matter who you play.
Don't get hurt. Your team's going to need you.
Yeah, your team sucked against Florida, previous. You've always sucked. Your team sucked always against fucking Boston since 1959. So it doesn't really matter what you do between now and the playoffs. You were the dude last year, and I'm pretty positive he's going to be the dude again. I honestly believe that. That guy he's got that. You look, when he gets a little burr under his saddle, you're not stopping him. Even last night, he didn't do anything fucking defensively. He was absolute trash defensively. But if you look last night, he was just showing these little signs of what he was going to do come playoff time. He went in,
Yeah.
went around with 3 or 4 guys at least 4 times last night. He was toying with dudes. Did he score? That's a different story. However, the whole setup last night was all about getting Matthews that 70 fucking goals. We'll go back to that.
Yeah.
The team played to get him the 70 goals. They're in the playoffs. They don't care. Get him the $70. Let's make it 70,000 or 70 goals and fucking let's make history. That's exactly what they were doing, and that's all they've been doing, because last night there was at least 10 plays in the second period alone that should have been where a guy actually shot the fucking puck, and instead they passed it to Matthews or passed it to somebody who would get it to Matthews, and they should have shot on net. The whole thing was set up to friggin' try and get Matthews the 70th goal. And
I hope you're right, man. I hope Nylander's waiting in the weeds right now, because you know what? He's so good. He is one of the best players I have ever seen in this generation. Top five. When he is, when he is like you said, when he gets that laser vision, when he's focused in, he'll dangle everybody like McDavid.
In the face in the first period of the next game, or the next, not tomorrow, not tonight, but the next, the first playoff game. I hope somebody from Boston comes up and stabs him in the nuts with stick. I hope they choke, give him a little shot in the throat, maybe a slash in the back of the neck, a slap in the face, give him a little friggin' helicopter. Yeah. I don't really care.
Don't mess with his pretty little face.
Off, and I guarantee you're going to score. He's going to score some goals, and he's going to make you look sick.
Yeah, he's going to come out godlike, Swedish God style. Yeah.
JD, thanks for tuning in, brother. We did talk about Austin Matthews earlier. We talked about Austin Matthews earlier, and we all said he's going to get 70. He's going to get it done. He's playing tonight. He's got the right to play. He played fantastic this year. Tune in, scroll back to see the full version of that. But yeah, no, that was kind of how we started the show. We'll move on because we got to talk about playoffs and playoff matchups. I think what we really should only talk about the Eastern Conference today. I kind of had planned to talk about the Western, but it's not locked up yet. Things can change. So let's just talk about the Eastern Conference, and because that's locked up. Nothing can change there.
I want to watch the game tonight, so let's get this shit going.
All right. So Boston versus Leafs. Gonna be an absolute war. I think that the most important thing about talking about this series is all of the heartache that the Leafs have been through with Boston over the years. We haven't beat them, Dylan and Jay. We haven't beat them since 1959 in the playoffs. They have had our number since then. That's insane. And most of those series happened in my generation, 3 of them. I can remember it fondly. I was so happy when we went up 4-1 in the third period in 2013. I was so happy. And I was just texting. I was thrilled. And then all of a sudden, 3-2. Or sorry, 4-2. And then all of a sudden, 4-3. And then Bergeron ends up giving them the lead 5-4. It just sucked. It really did. And it hurt.
No, they won in overtime.
I got to say, it wasn't overtime. Yeah, it was in overtime. Bergeron scored in overtime to win that in Game 7. It was just sickening. And I got to say, I've cried tears of joy before, but those weren't tears of joy. Those were tears of pure sadness and just upsetness. I was so pissed off. So, I don't hate Boston as a franchise because I think that they've got, great fans. I think they truly do have great fans. They've got some great history. But to be honest, because of this rivalry, I fucking hate them. And, the one player I don't like, well, we won't even mention his name, the rat face, nasty guy that's injured numerous people over his career and has the most suspensions of any player in the franchise. I just can't believe that he's Canadian and from the East Coast. I just can't believe that. But it's true. But yeah, he's going to get mashed. He's going to get absolutely mashed. Let's throw it up on the screen now for Game 1, Saturday, 7 p.m., boys. What's the big, bold prediction? What do you think is going to happen? I'm going to throw it over, though, to Dylan. Want to hear what his thoughts are. Throw it over to J-Dog, and then we'll move on to another a matchup. But I think it's going to be an absolute fucking war is my final word on the series.
The Leafs are going to have a lot of work to do in that first period to weather the first 10 minutes of the storm. Boston is an energy team. There's something in the water in Boston. There's something about that fucking city that just the fans and the gritty Boston attitudes and the, you like them apples kind of attitudes out there that just gets those boys fired up in the first 10 minutes of that game. It's going to be up to Keith to put on the right personnel and to coach them and ease them into this first game. And the first 10 minutes, Boston's going to come with an onslaught. They're going to be firing. And one of the things that the Leafs need to do is hit back and hit hard. Guys like Benoit, guys like Lyubushkin, Edmondson, Domi, Bertuzzi. These are the guys that are going to have to answer the bell in the first period, the first 10 minutes. And then we need to do what we do best. Stick with our game plan. The second period is our period. It's been our period all year long. The long change, we force teams, we hem them in, we get shots, we pepper the goalie, and never mind the cuteness. This is the playoffs, boys. The cuteness is over, okay? We don't care about the highlights. No one cares about your personal statistics. No one cares if you get 70 goals. Well, I mean, obviously, if you get 70 goals in the playoffs, that's pretty awesome, but it's never going to happen. No one cares if you're going to get the most points in the playoffs. All we care about is winning. All we care about is beating Boston, especially. The last time we faced Boston in the playoffs, it's been, 3 years now?
3 years now.
So
yeah.
Now's our chance. It's been 3 years, 3 years of growth, 3 years of mixing and matching and developing. And we have a full, healthy lineup. We have a better goaltender than we had in years past. We have bigger, stronger, tougher players. There's absolutely no reason why we can't beat a team like Boston, who shouldn't even, we didn't even think they were going to do this well this year. And as this series wears on and as this Boston team wears down, they don't have the depth that we have. They don't have the testicle fortitude that the Leafs have this year, the feistiness and the fight and the grittiness. And I'm predicting a huge second period for the Leafs, a 4-goal second period. They're going to be up 4-1, and that's how the game's going to end. Back to Toronto, and they might lose the next game in Boston. Back to Toronto, win the next 2. Let's go, boys.
Yeah, get pumped. Get pumped. J-Doc, what are your thoughts on this war that we're going to have in Beantown with the Bruins?
Beantown has a rat problem. They've always had a rat problem. And, they've got, the biggest rat problem in maybe the country of the U.S. I believe it's 417 rat sightings per day. And the biggest rat they have is the guy that's wearing the C on his shirt. I mean, they got more rats than listen, and Kenny Lensman used to be the rat, and that guy smoked more weed than fucking Snoop Dogg and friggin' all his buddies in one day than they did in fucking 10 weeks. I've met the guy. He's all about it. That's why he wears those big, thick glasses. The glaucoma, he says. Anyway, but there's been no bigger rat in the league than Brad Marchand since then. And I'd love to have him on the Leafs. We can't lie. He's one of the best players. He's been the most consistent player in the NHL for the last 10 years. There's nobody better than him consistently. That guy plays a good game every night. He plays with his heart every night. Fucking hate him. It's simple as that. But I would love to have him on my team. He's dirty as fuck. He's gritty as fuck. He gets greasy. And for a little dude, he goes to the dirty spots. He goes to the shitty spots. And this is where I think they're going to have a surprise. You just signed 2 dudes that are not afraid to fucking mix it up a little bit. And, Russian people or Russian hockey players have never been really known for being tough, with the exception of a few. And I'll have to say Lyubushkin is not a guy that's going to take any shit. Edmondson is. I wasn't impressed with his play last night, to be honest with you. However, this is
First
a guy.
couple games back. First couple back.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, but however, tomorrow, today's a new day. He's not going to take shit from this guy, and he's a fucking monster. And then, come on, he's been doing it all year. As far as I'm concerned, mentioned him earlier. You know what I'm talking about. Best defenseman that we got. And I'll tell you right now, if you think that the Rat is going to be standing in front of the net for more than like 3 seconds to 5 seconds without getting cross-checked in the face by any three of our best three, and I'm excluding Riley from our best three. I'm not joking. Riley's our best offensive defenseman, but he's definitely not physical. But I think our top three dudes physically are going to pound the fuck out of Boston. And I can't wait to see it. It's a whole different game now. It's not the same. I really like these. They're not the most physical, but they're extremely physical. They're not the most talented, but they're talented. They're not the most reliable, but they are goddamn well reliable. And what I like, what's going on right now, is that the team sees the cohesion change. There's reliability. There's accountability, with the exception of one player, which we just talked about in Nylander. And in what I've been saying all year, I am not a Marner fan when it comes to the playoffs. I think he's a fantastic player, blah, 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 blah. But when it comes to Boston versus Toronto, there needs to be physicality. It needs to happen quick. Revo is going to punch the face off of somebody like Charlie McAvoy. I'd say it probably in the first or second period. I guarantee you they're going to play Revo. If it doesn't happen the first game, it'll happen the second game. It just depends on the outcome. But I don't know if Revo's going to play, in the first game. If he doesn't, he'll play in the second game, especially if they lose. Guaranteed. And he will be on the ice. He will get more minutes in that second game than he has all fucking season. I guarantee you.
Yeah. And I really think it's going to be a fisticuff to either start sometime in Boston. Whether it's the first game or the second game, it's going to be fisticuffs. I really hope that they all just drop the gloves, just like New York and the Jersey there a couple weeks ago. They just all drop the gloves to start the series. Let's just get it over with. Let's pound the shit out of each other, and then let's play hockey. Play the 70s style Boston Bruins. Bring it on, big boys. Because I'm telling you, now we finally have those guys can fucking throw. And, put out Domi, Reeves, Bertuzzi, freaking Lyubushkin, and Edmondson to start the fucking game. Literally. Bring it on, boys. And I literally hope that the Rat, Marchand, gets involved because he is a pussy. Straight up, can't fight. Guy's a pussy. You know what? Bring it on. I really hope that we smash his face into oblivion, break his nose. I really just hope it's an absolute bloodbath in Boston. And then, then we can actually play some hockey. But I really think that the Leafs are going to outscore these guys. They truthfully are. And you know what? That's what happens. Hey, if we can outscore our team 4 games out of 7, we win the series. That's what's going to happen. But we're a tougher team. We can take it. Bring on Boston Bruins. Now, we want Florida. Fuck that. We want Boston. Bring it on. We got them. So we're stuck with them now, Boston, and they're fucking going home. Just like last year, Florida fucking knocked them out first round, and it was a big upset. Fucking bring it on. Toronto knocks them out. Now, question for you boys, and we're going to move on to another team or another matchup. What is going to be the number of games? I'm saying it's going to be, unfortunately, another 7-game series. Leafs in 7, and I say, out of all the players, I'm going to say that Morgan Rielly scores a goal in overtime, point shot, to put us into the second round. Dylan, quickly, what do you think about how many games it's going to take? Who's going to score the winner to put the Leafs into the second round? Because I know you're taking the Leafs, of course.
Leafs in 6, obviously. That's going to be a no-brainer for me. The Boston Bruins are going to have a couple games stolen by their goaltending. But overall, this is a fragile team in Boston. Don't forget what happened to them last year. They weren't supposed to do anything. They led the league in points, and they got swept by a team that wasn't expected to do anything. Don't get me wrong. I think they didn't anticipate what Florida was going to do to them. And they will anticipate better against the Leaf team. Remember, the Florida team that barely squeaked into the playoffs weren't even expected to be there. I think they underestimated them. The Bruins are going to know what they're getting with the Toronto Maple Leafs, because shows like us, everybody talks about the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's in their ear. It's in their face. Opposing teams, they fucking hate it. They hate hearing about the Leafs all the time. So you know that they're going to want to punish the Leafs and come out and put in their best possible effort against the Leafs. However, they're not as strong as they were in previous years, and the Leafs will beat them in 6.
All right. Yeah, yo, dog. How many games going to take for the Leafs to beat Boston this year, buddy? And who's going to score the winner, big guy?
Well, I'm a little. I have to be a little honest. The Swayman and Allmark are fucking incredible goalies. I think that they're going to steal a few for them. It's not the team. I think right now they're pretty fragile. They're not playing the way they can. Their best players are not playing. Actually, their second and third line guys are. Well, actually, I can't even say that. Their third and fourth line guys have been probably the most active in the last few games. I've watched Boston because, being down in Dominican and Florida for the last little bit, been paying attention to Boston because I kind of knew that was my thought. It was Boston, Florida, is one of the two. And I've been watching the Boston games. I'd rather watch original 6 teams than, Florida non-tax-paying guys. But
sure.
Anyway, point being, Boston's always been a nemesis. It's always been this. Let's just get to the facts here. If you can't beat Boston, you're not. Well, it doesn't matter who it is, but if you can't beat Boston, the franchise is fucked. And it's simple as that. This year is the year, because this team will not be the same next year if they don't make it past the second round. You will see trades. It doesn't matter if they have no trade clause. They'll be asked to leave, or something drastic will happen somehow or another. Well, that's it. That's the drastic part. There's no other way of putting it. Somebody who has no trade clauses will be asked to leave. I hope Marner is that guy that gets asked to leave, because then we can bring in 2 fucking phenomenal defensemen at $5 million apiece, or even $4 million apiece. Have another couple of $1 million to spend on whatever. But anyway, the point being is Boston needs to have an ass kicking beyond anything they've ever seen. They need to score. The Leafs can score 6 goals in any game. Okay. The Leafs defense and Leafs goalies just need to only stop them from scoring 5. Come on. Stop the other teams. It's really not that hard. All they got to do is stop another team from scoring 5 goals. That's it. That's it. 5 goals. If you can't stop another team from scoring 5 goals, you don't just.
Lost J-Dog a little bit there.
Well, he's in North Bay. It's still cold up there.
North Bay, it's cold.
North Bay, they freeze the internet up there. North Bay, there, bud. They'll pay your bill.
Oh gosh, he looks so mad too in mid-sentence. We'll have to drop him, unfortunately. That's too bad. All right, well, Dylan, we've heard it. You and 6, me and 7, J-Dog undetermined. We haven't really
the way he was going though. I think J-Dog was going to go the Leafs in 5. By the way,
or 4.
Yeah, you need to pound this team. To pound them into oblivion. And I wish that was the case, that the Leafs could have 5 consistent games where they were in every game, or 4 consistent games, but I just don't see it. Oh, let's see if I'm right.
There he is. So,
Sorry.
so,
What
so
happened?
how many games, J Dog? How many
6.
games? 6 games, 4 games, 5 games?
6 games.
All right, all right, all right. Let's move it on because I know that everyone watch the Leaf game and see a Poppy score 70. Wouldn't that be exciting? But Battle of Florida, this one's going to be a barn burner. I can't wait to watch this one. This is going to be one of the best series in the East Coast for sure, in the Eastern Division. We won't spend too much time on it, but I think that both teams can play great playoff hockey. I think the Panthers being the number one hitting team in the league, that's the reason why they win. They're going to shut down Kucherov. They're going to shut down Braden Point. They've just got a better team for the playoffs now. Yes, Kucherov has 140 some odd points. It doesn't matter. The guy's older than dust in hockey. Like, no, like this is not their year. Florida's going to move on. I say Florida in 7. I think it's going to be still a barn burner series. Vasilevsky, he's going to keep them in it, and the Panthers know will win in 7. Dylan, quickly, what are your thoughts on this series? I think it's going to be a barn burner, going to be one to watch. What are your thoughts?
This is definitely going to be not like any other Panthers Lightning series that we've seen before, where the Panthers just get beat and they're just not good enough and they just don't have the veteran experience, the playoff experience. This is a Panthers team that went deep last year. They are experienced. They can get it done under pressure against a Lightning team that is also a veteran team, but not in a good way, in an aging way. And they are older and they are not as much of a juggernaut as they've been in past years. This is a Panthers series to lose, and I don't think it's going to be a huge contest in terms of like who's going to win. We know who's going to win. This is going to be more so who's going to step up and make a difference. Is Vasilevsky going to have some kind of lights out experience in this series and not allow the Florida Panthers to get the goals? It's gonna be something like that where it's either going to be one guy who's just going to stand on their head and carry the team for the Tampa Bay Lightning. But for the most part, this is the Panthers to lose, and they will dominate this one without a doubt.
All right. We heard it's Dylan, and Panthers going to dominate, and I like that. What does J Dog have to say about the Battle of Florida? J Dog, stage is yours, brother.
I think you both smoke too much weed or drink too much. I think in 6 it will be Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has been playing on fire. They are not an old team. Their first 2 lines are experienced, but other than Stamkos, the team is not old. You just used to the guys being around for so long, but they're not an old team. You look at the lineup, the guy, most of the guys are in their 20s, like late 20s. Sure, they're still not an old team. They have been the best team in the NHL pretty much for the last, I don't know, month and a half. They went from like no chance to being in the playoffs to being in the playoffs. They are going to beat Florida like a rented mule. They're going to smack them around like a redheaded stepchild. There is going to be physicality that Florida hasn't seen in a long time. I guarantee you that Tampa, I think Tampa and Winnipeg will be in the final. That's what I'm calling. And I honestly believe that Tampa's going to smack the shit out of these guys. There is nobody tough on who's tough on Florida. Nobody's tough. A bunch of little rats like Kachuk and whatever, but nobody's tough. There's no physicality from that. They play physical, but they're not tough. Bennett is their toughest dude. Like really, he really is. Like other than the 6'5" Russian dude, I always forget his name. I'm sorry. I'm not talking about Barkov. Barkov Barkov plays a physical game and is maybe the most underrated player in the NHL, in my opinion. Phenomenal hockey player. Love to watch him. He's smooth. He's silky. However, he's not physical. He can be physical, but he's not. He's not going to be. I'm telling you right now. This is going to be a bitch slap, and you guys are insane. And
Hey, okay. Well, fill out your bracket there, bud. Fill out your bracket there. We can make a three-way bet here. Who on the three of us on who wins out of the three of us in our little league here. Fill out your bracket because I got Florida all the way. But I love it. I love it, buddy. I really do. You know what? And that's what I love about our show. Difference of opinion. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And Core 4, you need more of that. You need not to be so mean in the chat room. Okay. Somebody has a different opinion than you. Don't tell them that you're on drugs or like this guy does. You know what? To be like, yeah, you know what? That's your opinion. That's great. This is my opinion. There's a different way to go about it. But anyway, let's move on to the next series.
Says. Hey, one more point on Tampa Bay, J-Dog, just before you fill your bracket and make nonsensical predictions like they're going to be in the Stanley Cup final. Don't forget the injury list, okay? Chiarelli, Hedman, although he'll be back, Glendening, Johansson, Sergachev. These guys are beat up as well, and they don't have the depth. They don't.
When you have the first two lines that they have and Hedman will be back, Hedman plays half the game. And Nick Paul has changed that team when it comes to heart since he's joined the team. It's a different team since then. Nick Paul, I love him. I love him. He's an ex-North Bay Battalion boy, and love my hometown. You know, it doesn't really matter. Hey, the proof's in the pudding. Let's watch.
All right. Saturday, let's bring it on, man. I can't wait for the playoffs. Best time of the year. You know what? If you're calling me, I'm not going to answer. We're definitely watching hockey, moving on every single night until the Leafs hoist the Stanley Cup. Anyway, New York and Washington. This one's going to be a pretty good one too. Kind of Washington kind of squeezes in and they battle back, to get into the playoffs. And Ovechkin, you know, stepping it up to get his team into the playoffs. I just loved his play, and I really loved how they played. You know, in Detroit, I got to give a shout out. Detroit, what an effort. What an absolute try to get into the playoffs. I'm sorry, I got to say that. You were so damn fucking close. What was it, like 7.4 seconds to tie the game, and they fucking do it? Like, just insane. They beat the Leafs. Like, oh, man. Like,
and then Philly pulls the goalie. That screwed them. Philly pulls the goalie in a tie game.
Yeah, they eliminated three teams by their actions.
Torts fucking over Detroit. Torts fucks over Detroit, and it's not right. It's just not right. You know,
I wanted Detroit in so bad too. Me too. I really wanted Detroit.
Oh, I really wanted them to. They deserve it. It's been 8 long years for Detroit. I think now not making the playoffs. But I got to say, though, briefly, and then we'll move to New York and Washington. I got to say, damn, do they ever look good? They're way better than they were 2-3 years ago. They're a team to watch out for. They had a great start to the year. They've got a lot to look forward to. But yeah, please jump on. If you're a Detroit fan, jump on the Leaf bandwagon. We need you. We need all the fans that we can get. We already have 100 million apparently. But anyway, New York and Washington. New York, a lot of toughness now with Kempe. Anybody can throw down on that team. We've got Pastrnak having Panarin having a year and a half, playing really, really good. They've got some great goaltending. They've really got a great team, and I think that New York's going to go deep in this playoff run. My prediction for this series is New York in 5. New York in 5. I just think that they're too good. They're too tough. They've got the goaltending behind them. They really do have a fantastic team, and they've had one hell of a year. They won the President's Cup this year for a reason, and I really think there's nobody that's going to beat them unless somebody just throws 4 games at them that are really good. They might go all the way to the Stanley Cup final. But hopefully the Leafs run through them and beat them. But I gotta say, Panarin, 120 points this year. That's outstanding. Igor Shesterkin, 2.58 goals against average, and Adam Fox, 73 points. And they've got a rookie with 21 points, Kool-Aid. So they've got a great team. They really do. What are your thoughts, Dylan, on New York and Washington, brother? How many games and kind of what are your thoughts on New York and Washington in the series?
This is going to be a pretty clean series for New York. They're going to run the tables on Washington. I don't even think Washington will get a win. Washington barely squeezed into the playoffs. Washington's just a shitty team. They suck. They have they don't have a lot of cohesion on that team. They run around the ice. They get a lot of penalties. You don't want to get penalties against the New York Rangers. I tell you, they got one of the best power plays in the league and some of the best scorers in the league. They won the President's Trophy. This is a team with that gets up 1 or 2 goals and will shut you down as well. So good luck trying to score against the New York goaltending tandem. I just don't see Washington even winning a game. I think this is a sweep for New York, which is actually going to be unfortunate for New York because it's going to be too easy. And sometimes when it's too easy, that can prove troublesome in the later rounds.
All right. We heard it from Dylan. It's going to be a clean old sweep. And you know what? That might be a very real prediction. But anyway, J-Dog, what are your thoughts on New York and Washington?
I think it's going 7, and I can't call it. And I'll tell you why.
I almost spit my beer out.
Well, you can say whatever you like.
You're like, really?
Who's more physical? What team's more physical?
I think New York, man. They're rough and tumble, tough team.
Rempe? Come on.
Rempe just smashing faces as a rookie.
Fights Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson punched the face off of fucking Rempe. He's 21 years old or 20 or whatever, and Tom Wilson will make a fucking mockery of that little motherfucker. I guarantee you. Guaranteed.
I can't wait to see this thing. You know what's going to happen.
There's the thing about experience, and it's not just him. You've got TJ Oshie, who is one of the best playoff players that there is. You've got Ovechkin, which obviously is one of the best playoff players that there is. You've got like goaltending wise, I absolutely give that to New York. There's no question. However, the physicality, John Carlson is when it comes to the playoffs, he's one of the best defensemen there ever has been when it comes to the playoffs. He's always been solid, no mistake, always good for a point in every game. I honestly don't know. I don't know who to call it. Who's going to win this? I really don't. I think there's way more with experience when it comes to the playoffs. We all seen it before. There's teams that won. Remember when Florida ended up where they ended up way back when Mellenby was on the team?
Washington's not that team, unfortunately.
Washington could be that team. That I think it's just the underestimation causes people to think, oh, it's going to be a rollover. I think that game that's going 7, and I'm not calling anything.
All right. Let's move on to the last one. Carolina and the New York Islanders. I think that this is another banger of a series. I just think that Carolina is too quick for New York. They've got some fantastic players on their team this year. And you know what? I was looking up the odds for picking, the Stanley Cup winners right now, and they have the most terrible odds. to actually win. You're not paying anything. They've got the best odds. Carolina is the team that on MGM is their favorite to win the Stanley Cup. Are you fucking nuts? Like, I think that's just craziness. But it is what it is. I think they're only paying like $450 right now to win the Stanley Cup, which is not even worth your bet of $20. You're not going to win anything. So yeah, like I really think that they've got a great squad. Now New York Islanders, on the other hand, they're a rough and tumble team. They play in the hard zones. They go in front of the net. They block the goalie's view. They tip shots and they get the nasty goals. They play the playoff hockey. It's a nasty fucking building to play in, when you're the visitor. So anything can happen in this series, but I still think that Carolina just has way too much talent. And I just think that they've had a couple of good months. Like Sebastian Aho, 89 points. That's underachieving this year. And I think he's got a lot to prove. He's a great player. Jake Guentzel, 77 points. He's a great player too, right? And, they've got a lot to prove. And they've got a goaltender that's got a 2.33% save the goals against average. I can't even pronounce his last name. Kochkev. He really is a great goaltender. But time will tell. I think we're going to go 5 games this series. It may go longer, but that's my prediction is 5 games. But yeah, the New York Islanders will make it tough on them, but I just think that Carolina is too damn fucking good. Dylan, what are your thoughts on this series, brother?
I don't even think the New York Islanders should be in the playoffs. They're another one of these teams that might get swept, might get a couple lucky wins just because you're right. They're going to crash and bang and get a few lucky goals off whoever or whatever, off a skate, off a tip in or whatnot. But they actually have one of the worst regulation win records. I can't remember exactly for all the teams that are in the playoffs by a long shot. They have one of the worst regulation wins. And they've got the OT and the shootout winners that basically make up at least 30 or 40% of their wins this year, which is absolutely ridiculous. So they're struggling to stay in every game, coming back, having to tie the game. I mean, I guess they're somehow getting it done, but when it comes to the playoffs, you're playing playoff bound, hard nosed teams like Carolina, who belongs there, who's a proven team, who has up and down that lineup, fast, skilled players. Aho, Svechnikov, who's the other guy? I can't think of him right now. Yeah, I think they're just going to get exposed again to prove who they really are. The Detroit Red Wings, the Pittsburgh Penguins would have a better chance in the playoffs against Carolina, or the Detroit Red Wings would have a better chance than the New York Islanders. They might win a game, but it's going to be 4-1 Carolina. Another easy first round for the Eastern Conference.
Agreed. J-Dog, last teams that we're talking about. So last series that we're going to talk about tonight, we will talk about the West Coast. I guess on the Saturday pregame show, we'll go through those games or like all those matchups on that show, because nothing is guaranteed in the West Coast right now. Unfortunately, we've gotten to wait till tonight's games to kind of firm up those matchups. But Carolina, New York Islanders. J-Dog, what are your thoughts on that tonight, brother? Well, for the series this year.
For Carolina, New York, I would say you've got maybe one of the most winning goalies that everybody seems to forget about with Freddie Henderson. Freddie's been rock solid for them, not just them. He was rock solid for the Leafs. He is maybe the most underrated goalie in the NHL. He's quiet. He doesn't talk. He doesn't whatever. I think Carolina is going to win this series. However, I don't think it's going to be a rollover. You've got guys that have heart on the team that the Islanders have. I think that when you see guys like Barzal, who is an extremely like you put Barzal on a team, like honestly, you could put Barzal on Chicago. Chicago be making the playoffs and running for the cup. You know what I mean? Like that's a guy that he's a game changer. And then you got and the Leafs, as far as I'm concerned, made a big mistake getting rid of Engvall. Engvall is a game changer as well. He's not the flashy whatever, but you know he's a guy like you need to be deep. That's a guy you want deep. That's a guy that can score goals, that can change a game defensively and offensively. Anyway, I'm just saying I don't think the Islanders are going to beat Carolina. However,
let me tell you this, Jay. What do you think of this? The New York Islanders are bottom third in the league in these three categories: goals per game, goals against per game, power play, and penalty kill. What does that tell you about this team versus a team like Pittsburgh, who's top 10 in the league in all those categories except power play?
You're put into a position. You're now in the playoffs. If you don't think that changes somebody's mentality and how they're going to play, they got in the playoffs. I agree with you 100%. It's a bit of a surprise that they got in, and I honestly believe that there's problems with the setup of how you get into the playoffs. I don't like this. There's so many like the divisions. I don't like the way it's set up. I don't like the whole setup's bullshit.
Just because you can win a shitty division and be in the third seed.
It's fucked. It's all set up for American teams. Like it's all set up for that. So no matter what, all I can tell you is that I don't think you got a bunch of good Canadian boys on that fucking Islander team. They're not letting them fucking win. I guarantee there's way more skill, with the exception of the top line on the Islanders, but there's way more skill depth wise from start to finish, and like on the Carolina team. And I'm sorry, Freddie's the most underrated goalie in the NHL. I never thought that they should get rid of him. I always thought it was the defense that was the issue. I didn't think it was Freddie that was the problem. They didn't have a solid defense in Toronto, and that's the reason why Freddie ended up somewhere else. And you know what the media's like? They fucking lie and say stupid shit and, you know, blame the goalie and whatever else when you have a shit defense and you have a shit management team. And that's what happened with Freddie at that time, as far as I can see.
All right. Well, let's end the show with a longtime viewer's question. So he's like, you guys must have been talking about how physical people are. It's part of the game. Damn right, brother. It's going to get more physical as we go. But Jay's question is, what do you think about Edmonton? Yes, we're going to talk about that series on Saturday on a pregame show, but we'll definitely talk about it. I think they choke. I seriously do. That's my opinion. They had a rough time last year, the years prior. Yes, McDavid is the best player in the league. And yes, he's got, some great players around him. Zach Hyman to bank in the goals in front of the net, which he's had a great year banking on in 50 plus in front of the net. He hasn't really scored a lot of wrist shot goals. And we've got Draisaitl. I just think that I don't know. Something tells me, deep down inside, that they're not winning the cup. They're not going to beat whoever they face. I really don't see it. And
Jamie,
I'd love to get behind them. I'd love to get behind them.
Jamie, what is their problem?
I just think it's kind of the same problem as the Leafs have had in the past. Bad luck and bad mismanagement. I really do. I don't think that these guys have the killer instinct to win the cup. There's great teams that win lots of games in the regular season, but then when it comes to the playoffs, they shit the bed.
Jay knows
And I
what they're
think
missing.
that might happen with Edmonton. That's my opinion. It is what it is. Dylan, obviously, you want to jump in here and rip me to shreds.
I just
Go
want to
ahead,
know.
bro.
I know the answer. Jay, what is the answer, Jay? What is this team missing? What are they missing? I know it. I'm not even going to say it. I don't even have to talk right now because I already know the answer, and a million other people know the answer. Jay, what are they missing?
There's one guy on the team that has heart. The rest of the team, well, maybe two. The rest of the team doesn't have it. So and the one guy that has it came from Toronto, and as far as I'm concerned, might be the most. As far as I'm concerned, he should be up for MVP every fucking year. And you guys know who I'm talking about. Go ahead, Jamie. I don't have to say his name.
What MVP of every year?
Wow, who's got the most heart on Edmonton Oilers? Used to play for the Leafs.
Oh, Zach Hyman.
Exactly. If they had a team full of Hymans, they'd win every year. If they had, there's no question. The physicality of that team is up and down. The intelligence of that team is up and down. The offense and defense of that team is up and down. They don't have the goaltending to win fuck all. They don't have the heart to win fuck all, unless, I'm not joking, I think that between Hyman and possibly the defensive core, they might make it past the second round. But I honestly don't think they're making it past the second round. And Hyman is the key to that whole fucking team. And it's not fucking either like Connor or fucking
Draisaitl.
Thank you. I've had a few of these, just so you know. I was going to say the German dude. Anyway, the point being is that they're missing heart. They don't have it. The physicality. It's a very similar team to Toronto when you look at it, except Toronto's deeper, but it's very similar. They don't have the greatest goaltending. They've got
bingo.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
That's one.
Yeah. They don't have the greatest goaltending. They've got two good defensemen. The rest of the team sucks as far as
they got nobody on defense.
And there's no fucking heart with the exception of Hyman. And you know what? You know what? I don't.
Your boy Nick Paul scored tonight, by the way.
Like I said, I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
They just don't have it. They don't have it.
Here's the thing, though. No matter what, you can play the shittiest game ever. And if you're as skilled as some of these guys are, like you got Toronto and Edmonton, they're very comparable teams. They really are comparable teams. However, Toronto's gotten a little bit more physical, but like since the trade deadline. But they both can score 6 goals a game. So my point is, go back to Edmonton style way back when. Never mind being fucking defensive. Just score goals. Just keep scoring fucking goals. But don't make stupid passes. The thing that made Edmonton great back in the day, also New York Islanders, and again, I'll bring this up one more time. My wife's great uncle is Al Arbor. I didn't know this after fucking 28 years of marriage. Wow. Not a joke. You'd think me playing pro hockey in Europe and fucking all these things about hockey, my wife might say those things. Anyway, point being, I just think that there's you have to have cohesiveness, you have to have belief, you have to have physicality, and you have to have the talent. And Edmonton doesn't have that. Toronto is, I'd say, 2 steps ahead of Edmonton.
Right.
But when you got teams like Vegas and Colorado, well, there's probably 2 other teams you could mention in there, but Dallas is up there. I don't think everybody. I hear a lot of rigmarole about Dallas. I don't think they're winning shit. I think they're going to go second round and they're done. But
and it looks like they're playing the Kings as well, too. Or sorry, Knights
they're
as well. Sorry,
a lot
Edmonton
better.
plays the Knights. Is what it
Everybody's
looks like right now,
Yeah,
right?
Kings are a lot better than everybody's giving them credit for all year.
Yeah,
Like
but
people are
Vegas Knights though have just won the Stanley Cup. Does Edmonton really have? If they play Vegas, dude, do they really have the heart, the soul, the passion to get by the Vegas Golden Knights if they play Vegas Golden Knights?
score
I
6
say no.
goals. Score 6
Well,
goals a game. Never mind
just
defense.
maybe. Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
score 6 goals a game because their goaltending's not that horrible. It's just that you just need to be normal, like average at best, maybe a little bit more than average, but you just need to fucking go all offense. Like back in the day when Gretzky won, and the boys won, like they didn't have a lot. Like I don't give a shit what anybody says. Kevin Lowe sucked. The guy wore fucking micron metallic fucking plastic skates. I would skate circles around that motherfucker and I'd put him in the fucking ground. Like he's 6 whatever, I'm 5 fucking nothing, and I would plant him in the ground with a fucking gravestone saying you suck. Not a joke. And I like they're like the team at the time back then, like they had the toughness, Marty McSorley and Semenko and all those things. And the only reason why they won is because they had the guys like McSorley and fucking Semenko, fucking like sharks, swimming around saying, you touch my dude, I'm going to fuck you up. And that's exactly, intimidation was an issue. That team does not have any intimidation.
All right. Well, boys, it's been a good chat about the East Coast matchups for the year. Let's see what happens tonight. Go get him, Matthew, 70 goals. Some reminders, though, quickly while we wrap it up here, folks. The bracket. Jump on to bracketchallenge.nhl.com. I'll have this information on our page. Fill out your bracket. You can join our league. Keep Your Head Up Hockey Show. Password is Core4. Again, I'll have it on our Facebook page as well as this show. If you join and you win our league, $100 Keep Your Head Up Hockey merch package for you, shipping included. And then on top of that, if you actually win you automatically get signed up for the NHL.com league challenge, where it's got 100,000 people. If you win that, it's the $5,000 US package to go see any hockey game next year. So make sure you do your bracket before any game on Saturday. That's when you've got to do it. Don't forget, don't miss out on that chance. You never know if you're going to win, and you got a good chance at winning a $100 package of merch from me, yours, and I, sending to you, the fan. Thanks for watching. Keep your head up and smash that like button. Share the show. Tell a friend. Don't forget about our Saturday pregame show for Core 4, Leafs versus Bruins. It's going to be a fucking war. Bring it on.
Woo! Saturday, baby.
We'll see you Saturday. Thanks for tuning in.